Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena as we continue through the Power Esports season in Super Smash Bros. This week, the Broncos have faced off against a new challenger within the PEC, Baylor. Going head-to-head in each game so far, the Broncos have defeated their opponents in both Overwatch and Valorant in clean sweeps, the only exception being Rocket League, where Baylor stayed ahead and took the match. Tonight, we get to find out if Baylor put all of their eggs in one basket, or if their Smash Bros team can find a way to defeat the Broncos and even out the score for the week. Calling all the action, my name is Audrey with Bryce here. We're so excited to be here as we get into this matchup. Now, as we're getting ready to jump into this, we have had some pretty crazy weeks so far, but last week saw 3 2-0 games, with Michigan State taking down the Broncos, Nebraska beating Ohio State, and Kansas beating Baylor. Syracuse and Minnesota were on byes, and even though the scores might have said 2-0, the games were much closer than they looked, and the league is shaping up to be strong from top to bottom. And of course, we're always excited to see that here at the arena, because a strong season is going to be a great matchup in these finals. But as we're getting ready to go into this week, we want to take an attempt to educate the audience on the PEC and their schools. We started with a quick Q&A with our players about Baylor University. Jacob Palmer was our man on the street to see what our players knew about the Bears.
And then another new addition for this year.
Oh, Baylor's in?
I know what it is. I don't know where they are.
Brigham Young University.
It's Baylor.
Okay, it's Baylor, yes. Where is Baylor?
Wyoming.
Nevada.
Take a big guess. A big guess.
Texas.
There you go. Where in Texas?
Let's go a nice hub of industry here. Let's go Detroit.
Baylor is in Wisco, Texas.
You're so close. Change a vowel.
Oh, Wisco or Wesco.
Waco?
Hey, you got it. Okay.
Wacko. Welcome to Wacko.
Baylor, welcome to the PEC. We welcome you with open arms. I'm sure you feel very, very welcome right now.
What's up, my fellow wackos?
Yeah, taking a look at our players super fast, we have Eric Lambastida, Tyler Wills, Alexis Arianas, Nolan Jenna, and Jonathan Foraker. These could be the guys who are going up against Baylor, and honestly, I'm really excited for this matchup because we don't know a whole lot about Baylor, but you know what we do know? Doc's keys to the game.
And in Super Smash Bros, that is to win in neutral, punish openings, look for the 2-frame, look for the 2-frame. Brought to you by Blue Ribbon Painting. Doc's keys to the game are, as I said, brought to you by Blue Ribbon Painting. With over 90 years of combined experience, they are proud to be Boise's go-to team of local multi-generational painters who know how to level up your home. Visit blueribbonpainting.net. Now, the keys to the game will surely be important going into this matchup, as both of these teams, from a Super Smash Bros. Perspective, have not managed to take a win yet in the Power Esports Conference season, meaning that this matchup is an opportunity for either team to take home their first win. And we can see here in the arena, actually, there's a lot of excitement here for the Broncos, as we have many people in the background getting ready to support our team here as they go into their matchup. From what I understand, they are here to support all of our players, but especially Supersonic. I've heard there are some Pikmin shirts in the crowd.
Oh yeah, and that is definitely going to get him all hyped up. Maybe just a little bit more luck with the Pikmin, maybe with all the support, gain a little bit of health, make sure they don't go down nearly as easy as they tend to.
Get that crowd buff that, you always mistake it, but it's there.
I mean, in Pikmin, the more Pikmin that you have, the heavier load that you can carry. So some things require more than 3 Pikmin, and Olimar in the game
So are we suggesting he has more Pikmin right now because of the crowd?
That's what it looks like. And, he said that he also has Pikmin plushies, so if he brings those, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, we'll have to see. That buff might be helpful, but as we're getting ready to go into this matchup, we do have to ask the question, right? Baylor is a new school, new team, trying to figure things out. But just as much as that might be a benefit for the Broncos who have experience, that unknown can create some uncertainty. So Does that make you feel nervous? You concerned about any of that, or do you feel pretty strong right now for the Broncos?
I think that every character can be played in really its own way. There's certain ways to play characters that are viewed as meta or as how they're supposed to be played, but we've seen characters that are played completely different as to their intended purpose. I mean, I was looking at some of Baylor's favorite characters, and one of them just happens to be Mii Brawler. And something that the Miis are very known for is their customizability, their alternate playstyles, how they can really flip up a meta, really flip you on your head, depending on what loadouts are taken. And I think the ability to know kind of what characters are going in is going to help the Broncos. However, it's not going to tell them the full story of how they like to play. Are they going to run around and use speed to an advantage? Are they going to press it with combos? Are they going to try and ledge guard? Are they going to bring DK out of nowhere and try to suicide? You never know. You just never know until it goes out. And that's really the fun of these newer teams. You have no idea until they start playing. And I feel like this is going to be an electric game one way or another.
Yeah, especially going into this new season, having new teams really shakes up every expectation you have. You know, we've been seeing it in Rocket League. Rocket League, you know, the Broncos were the premier team. They were the ones to beat, and Baylor just took them down this week. And now that they have that, that creates that shakeup here on the Rocket League side of things, and it could do the exact same thing for Super Smash Bros. Because any introduction of new teams, new players, creates that new life. And honestly, I'm just excited. Having the conference grow, having more schools and more teams, getting opportunities to play each other, showcase their skills, showcase their love for the game, then also means we get to watch more games and get to see cool action back to back to back. And so I'm excited to see that all of this has just been growing from time to time. That being said, I am very confident in the Broncos for this matchup. You know, they had the opportunities with the dual system to, you know, refine their strategies, know what they're going to go into, and with a team that is, you know, very comfortable with who they're playing with, especially, you know, they've played with each other for a couple seasons now, and now, you know, coming into this new season, they're still trying to find all of the things for it, but they're definitely not completely fresh on the block here like Baylor.
And, you know, I was actually going to bring that up, how that working as a team can really come to really help you, knowing everyone's strengths and weaknesses, knowing how to play into certain things. But you know what else that we should know? One of our amazing sponsors, Dairy West.
True. Today's stream is brought to you in part by local dairy farmers and the dairy protein that they produce. Thanks to them, Boise State Esports has access to next-level fueling options that keep our players playing at their peak. Unbottled, dairy protein that powers your performance. Visit unbottled.com for more info.
And, you know, kind of going back to that familiarity thing, being able to recognize not only your own strengths and weaknesses, but being able to fill in the gaps for places that your teammates may struggle is one of the less known things about Super Smash Bros., especially with the new duel system. And speaking of the duel system, it looks like we have our matchups on the board right here. And first we're going to be starting off with Mata and Calamity. A little bit of Greninja on Terry action. Two characters that like to get up close and personal, but Terry has the advantage of punching just a little bit higher.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Greninja in these past weeks. We know generally the game plan for it. You know, jump in, hit with your powerful water attacks, get that damage in, and run away. Though the interesting thing here will be Terry. Terry, similar to the Kazuya scares that we've had earlier in the season, is one of those characters that has the funny buttons that if you hit in the right order, it hurts like crazy.
Yeah, especially once you get his go meter online
my gosh,
as
the
well.
go meter.
Being able to hit those combos, which I mean is necessary for all characters. Every character has a combo, but then you get to your fighting game characters who all have their own specific combos that do specific things, and that's what really makes them scary. Not only have you done well to perfect how you play ledges, how you play around projectiles, that you don't really have to worry about in other fighting games like Street Fighter, like Tekken, like Guilty Gear, or insert other fighting game here.
There's so
Super
many.
Smash Bros. Has the aspect of verticality that those games just don't have, and being able to master not only basic fighting game mechanics, but also the very funny jumping mechanics of Super Smash Bros. Is a very scary threat.
Yeah, I think this will be a fun matchup. One thing that is really good is that a lot of times when Terry is going up against someone, they really like people that can't maneuver around them, because the power wave ability specifically, where you can shoot that massive wave of energy down something, has to go on the ground. But Greninja loves to be in the air. They're a ninja. It's in the name. You know, jumping around, hiding, not where you want them to be.
Not to be confused with Hadouken, because that's just one button input.
Just one button
That's
input.
just one button.
Listen, the
Ryu and
DLC
Ken-
character versus the like normal character difference is the amount of buttons you have to pick to win. Granted, at the same time, Terry is just very scary,
Yeah.
as with every DLC character.
Terry is going to want to run down Greninja and really just lock him down. And if Calamity can get Greninja into a spot where he's not comfortable, Mata's going to find it really difficult to really get out of it. Greninja really wants to find a way to get behind Terry, get into places that he's not comfortable. All of the fighting game characters do share a common weakness of not being very good off stage. So if you're able to get them off of there, you open up a ton of options for yourself while closing down a lot of the ground options that they have.
If I remember correctly, especially Terry's recovery, if I remember correctly, doesn't have as many options.
It's better than Ryu and Ken's, because theirs have to be charged up. But as we go into round one, we're starting to see just a little bit of button checking before the game starts, and we should be underway here pretty quick.
Yeah, always gotta make sure everything's working, and remember to taunt, as it's a very important part. You want to make sure that everything's working, and with that, going to jump right into the matchup, start the first game, Broncos versus Baylor. Deciding, I guess, to follow a similar dress code here with the characters, as a couple early shots back and forth, just testing the waters here. Greninja finding that momentum early on.
Yeah, it was like I was saying a little bit earlier, too. Just the ability to stay away from Terry, not let him get his combos through, not let him really start to get those button inputs mashed. It's just not allowing him to get anything done, just like Mata is expertly showing. Calamity trying to get something done here, just really struggling to find any momentum.
Platforms are going to be helpful, but if Terry cannot find that opening that Calamity wants, it's going to be rough. Mata holding strong, not deterred by any of the powerful hits. Going to get a nice grab off, but the Go meter is out.
Yep, with Go meter online, a lot more options open up to Terry, both in the air and on the ground. It's going to be a little bit harder to get things done. What a shot from Terry. Not quite enough to get it, and a little bit too early on the second one.
Exactly what I was talking about, but Mata holding strong here. The Broncos are not scared away. That's not going to immediately knock them out. And another powerful grab going to launch Terry to the other side of the map. Calamity has to be careful off stage here. Greninja has more options, and Mata sees that, trying to take it. Kick could have been a nasty knockoff, but the Broncos are still pretty comfortable with their percentages, unless you get hit by that move. That's going to be the first stock knockout.
What a spot dodge out of Calamity, and now he just has to keep it up while the Go meter is still up. Being taken up to the top, and a little bit of a shot comes through, but Mata is quick to return the favor. Both players on 2 stocks. Mata just a little bit higher on the percentage, but in this game, you can even that out pretty quick.
A little bit of back and forth here, dodging over the waves, especially with the Go meter being down. A little more comfortable what you can do. However, Calamity more comfortable in this matchup here, being more precise in their attacks. Mata going to look for that potential stage punish off ledge, but has to back off. Ooh,
good grab
classic
out of
grab.
Mata, taking him off. Not really able to follow up with anything. Aquajet just misses just a little bit. Manages to get him up in the air, taking him around town, up to past 100%. Calamity is in a dangerous spot here. Needs to find something to take Greninja down to the same level. However, he's really struggling to find it. Of course, I say that, and there goes the down special, bringing us back to a round even.
That Go meter is there. Doesn't make it feel so even when you could just get knocked off the match by a single punch. And we see that grab going to throw Mata off the ledge. Not immediately afraid of being out there, but any combos here could be the knockout. Seeing that, going to try and take an opportunity, but great read there from Calamity, able to create some space and not get punished on the recovery.
Yeah, both players really playing around the same level, but getting under the stage is just what Greninja wants. Calamity is down to his final stock. Mata fighting on his last, and he's going to be brought down to 1. We are in a 1v1 situation to start off the game.
Both teams fighting their hardest here to try and find the win. The Broncos just need that opportunity, but the damage difference in single hits is definitely putting a toll here. on their opportunities. Ooh, getting knocked off ledge, but not super dangerous. Lots of opportunities for that recovery C, but Calamity just catching up, not missing a single hit here until Mata's able to find some momentum.
A good hit out of Calamity, manages to stop Mata dead in his tracks, not quite able to find the combos he needs. Those ledges have both been a detriment and a really big help, but it's just not really working. You can't play on the same ground level. You're playing into Terry's game there, but trying to get him off the stage. Now Calamity rolls a reverse. Mata trying to find something, manages to spot dodge away, but not a whole lot is going for either of the players right now. Mata getting a few good hits in, just not to the same degree Terry is.
Not only that, but the Go meter might be back soon. Good shield there to protect from those kicks that have been such a favorite of Calamity. With the Go meter up, it is now or never for the Broncos. They need to find that knockout before Calamity can. This grab could be the start of the end here. All with this ledge recovery. Ooh, but Mata finds an opportunity.
Forward throw was an interesting pick, but a good little thing from Mata is able to dodge Calamity. Both players at dangerous locations. And
the
a
combo!
good combo out of Calamity is going to close this out. Baylor finds himself ahead by 2 to start the series. What a game.
Yeah, what a great game to start off the matchup for. And shows, you know, Baylor is not ready to go down without a fight, though notably, that's just kind of how Terry matches go, though, too, especially if you don't have the capacity to hit as hard per attack.
Yeah, and I feel like Terry knew that and was trying to play around his strength on the stage. And I think that was done really, really well on Calamity's part. He was on the stage, constantly in the middle, away from the platforms. He only died to platforms once. And for close combat fighters, your platforms are your worst nightmare because you can't punch somebody who's 10 feet above you. You just can't. The thing
You
is,
sure about that? Min can do it.
She's an edge case. But being able to just take that advantage away from Mata, like, come to me. You can't do anything unless you come to me. It made it so they had to do a lot more risky maneuvers to get Terry off the stage. And we saw that in the 2 times that Calamity was taken down, just being put in a weird position and then taken out. Mata, however, in the attempt to get a little bit more damage in, try to get the stock, was forced into situations where the Go meter came up and it was just bang, taken down.
I mean, that's the one thing, like, I do enjoy a lot of, like, the DLC characters' gimmicks, but it is one of the things that I also feel like, come on, man, do you really have to make them that, like, juiced up for that? Because, like, every single one of them has that meter moment when then you have to be more careful. Now, not all of them are as significant, like, say, Sephiroth, when he goes into his winged form. Not something you play around as much, but for characters like Terry and Joker, it's really scary. And Kazuya, which we saw how devastating that could be in a matchup. And so it's not necessarily ever going to be something just on your play, but just the fact that it is so hard to play around. And the fact that Mata kept that even the entire time playing a character that just doesn't hit as hard is always impressive.
Yeah, but something I'd like to bring up for the next match is going to be Gokis on Snake versus Howard the Ghastly on Incineroar. A character that we don't see a whole lot, but is one of the better Pokemon in the series. Incineroar, these 2 players are going to be playing incredibly differently. With Snake, he's going to want to be pressuring out Incineroar as much as possible. Incineroar being a little bit heavier has the ability to get up close and personal, but I'm not sure if we are starting or not after that. I think we are
I don't believe so.
Resetting.
But that's okay. We can continue to talk about the matchup here.
Yeah, and I would like to, because this will be an interesting matchup one way or another.
This is, I mean, so we were talking about Terry being a brawler. Incineroar, even more so, actually, because Terry still has some ranged capabilities, whereas Incineroar's primary range is that he has his little dash forward grab and slam.
He's one of the few characters in this game that has absolutely no projectiles.
Yep.
He's one of very few among the likes of Little Mac and Little Mac Altskin 2, Little Mac Altskin 3. I think they're the only 2 that don't have them. Actually, no. I don't think Roy has a projectile either.
Yeah.
But it presents a really interesting scenario. You have a character that's mainly projectiles versus a character that has none.
Yeah. However, though, not to be understated, Incineroar does have a nasty tool in their tool belt to deal with it, which is their revenge mode that just got activated. If they time it right with their down special, they get incredible amounts of damage off of their next attack, as we saw, with a single attack.
That is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
the battle of projectiles versus the wrestling cat from the Pokemon games here.
This isn't WWE. This is not scripted. This is all hands all the time, explosions flying everywhere. Revenge has been activated. We saw that it did 60 damage, but what's it going to do to someone who's already at almost 100?
And the scary thing, though, you have to be careful, though. It's not a complete knockout just based off of that, and the Broncos know that. They have to be wary here of their opportunities. Howard the Ghastly needs to dodge as best they can, but the projectiles hurt.
Again,
And a failure on the button input is going to prevent the attack from landing in the way they want.
I'm not sure that was a failure. I think that was a explosive, but all it takes is a good uppercut to take the cat down a stock. Explosions versus cats. Who would have ever thought that the explosive wins?
Which is funny, because he's a fire type. You think he'd be resistant. Unfortunately, not so much, but he is going to take a stock from Broncos here.
Yeah, 2 explosives going off. Incineroar being taken down low. Howard is not going to hit that lariat. That is going to be a little bit detrimental. Not quite able to get the revenge off on that either. Just timing it a little bit off. Tries to go for it again. Good grabs out of Gokis. And Howard finds himself in a really awkward position of not being able to get anywhere. Revenge is once again active, but not going to get any value with it.
Well, not yet. It's still going to be active for a little bit. This next attack could be dangerous. Unfortunately, middle of the stage, so Howard the Ghastly isn't going to get the knockout they want. They might get it off of here, though. High up enough in the air to go down.
Yeah, especially because that thing acts as a command grab. Shield is not going to save you there. However, the explosives might. A good explosive from the RPG is going to take him down, forcing him down the stage. Forcing Incineroar off the stage is probably one of your best scenarios, because you whiff his recovery, he is doomed to fall.
Unfortunately, he's not off stage right now until powerful kick from below the platform. That's going to be Goki's knockout there, and back to the 1-to-1 scenario. The Broncos can find the stock first. They'll be able to tie up the matchup here. However, Howard the Ghastly is looking to try and just end this quickly, knocking Snake straight up into the air. Now looking for that potential ledge recovery. Good read there on a potential grab from Gokis, but holding strong, using explosives to create that distance. C4 on the ledge could be dangerous in the future. Howard the Ghastly better remember that will be an unfortunate hit. Almost a knockout, too.
Oh, C4 was there, too. Howard the Ghastly with a good spot, but a
just
good C4
barely
is going to take him. Big hitboxes come to bite you in that scenario. Good little jab out of Howard the Ghastly. Trying to get something done here. Goki's playing around it well.
Oh, there it is!
C4 turns that cat into a pile of flaming fur, allowing Boise State to tie up the game 6-6. You know, if the game keeps going like this, we might see the first tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker for us. Coincidentally, I heard Baylor actually got a tiebreaker last week, so this might just be their status quo. We'll have to see. But one thing I do want to take a moment and, just appreciate was Snake is such a solid character to go against Incineroar, because when you have the grab go out, you can crouch underneath it.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. He actually missed one based off of that because he did the dive roll and they went straight past each other. At first I was like, I don't know, man.
I mean, Snake is a pretty sneaky guy. I mean, he uses the cardboard box for a reason. He's
that might have been dangerous against a cat, though.
That is true.
They love their cardboard boxes. They're not going to ignore that. I can confirm I put a old Cheerios box outside for my cat, and he instantly sat on it.
Yeah, for me, with my cats, it's only boxes that have important stuff in them.
Of course.
Like full of dishes. I remember we ordered some dishes, and my cat just jumped in the box. Didn't care that they were fragile. Just hopped in the box.
Yeah.
But there was no box for Incineroar to hop into to avoid the explosive.
Snake
the down
away.
taunt did not come out from Snake, unfortunately. No box.
No box. No boxes for the cat. And with that,
the only box was the hands that were getting thrown.
The boxing match that, unfortunately for the wrestler, did not go his way.
Speaking of hands, we have Me Brawler and Bowser coming up next.
True. That we got it.
Unfortunately, there's no Steve for the Steve Slayer, Melfor. But I feel like he's going
Fortunately
to
for
find a way to
us,
get
we
things
don't need to
done.
watch another Steve
That
matchup.
that is true. We have enough button mashing characters in these two rosters to begin with.
Yeah. But we will be jumping into that matchup right after we get an opportunity to call out one of our awesome sponsors, Extended Studies. Get your degree on a schedule that works for you. Boise State Extended Studies offers a variety of fully online courses and degrees to help you get your degree on your schedule. Visit boisestate.edu/extended studies for more details.
You know, looking at this matchup, it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes since both of these characters are going to have very similar strategies.
Yeah, run up and
yeah.
punch.
Just punch him in the face.
I will say, I think that for Me Brawler, this might be a little more terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Just because Bowser's grab capabilities gives him a lot more like opportunities to take control of the situation, because like in matchups like these, it's like who can gain the most control, right? Bowser's just bigger, takes up more space, and has the grab and slam, which is just devastating for any opponent. And Me Brawler doesn't have a ton of answers depending on the kit.
Yeah, the big boy cometh, and you just can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
They
big
just-
angry turtle versus one guy.
Turtle.
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 He's
a spinny turtle. But I am really excited for this one. I always like to see Me Brawler come out. Shot put is one of my favorite things in this game because of all the funny stuff that you can do with it. If you ever are interested in spending 20 minutes on YouTube and you have any interest in Super Smash Bros., look up Fire the Pyro's guides on Me Brawler because there are so many just stupid things that you can do with Me Brawler and so much weird stuff that can happen by spawning a hurt box. It is super funny. I would totally
and
recommend
with
checking
that,
out some of Me Brawler's
I add
stuff.
another marker to my how many times Bryce will call out his Me Brawler obsession during a stream. Yippee! I mean, I get it. The Me characters definitely don't get talked about that much because we just don't see them that often. But the fact that we've seen them
At all.
At all. You know, I'm kind of in, you know, the classic, if I had a nickel for every time I saw a Me Brawler in a matchup, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. That's how I feel this season.
I mean,
I've just
if
never
you're talking about
seen
this
Me
season-
Brawler before.
Yeah, if we're talking about this
consistently.
season, we saw one Me Gunner in week 1, and then we saw we're going to see Me Brawler today.
Yeah.
Unless Lumshot decides to do the cringe thing and swap to Ken. But I don't think he'd do that.
It says Me Brawler there. I think we're good.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I have faith.
Weird things could happen.
I mean, I guess we're in the spooky month,
That
so.
is true. It's like it's just a Ken in a Me Brawler mask. And it's not like a good mask that you buy from like Spirit Halloween. It's one of those like paper ones with a string
Aw.
attached. Like a Spy from TF2.
Yeah. So anyway, Brawler of the Century here. We've got, as you're talking about, Bowser versus Me Brawler, Melfor versus Lumshot RG. I think that I will say the nice thing for them is they are going to be going up against like a character that they can actually like deal damage to quickly. Like both of these characters hit hard. And so at least where Bowser's normal advantage of being the big chunky turtle that you can't knock off the stage is going to be a little bit less helpful because it does hurt when you get hit by a Me Brawler.
Yeah, Bowser hits you really hard once. Me Brawler hits you very hard a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely going to come down to who gets the most map control and the fastest, who gets people put into bad spots earlier, because both of these characters are going to struggle off stage. They're both going to. They want to be on the stage. So it's really just get off the stage, shoo, go away. Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, and I'll be curious to see if Melfor is able to utilize his Flames abilities because, you know, being able to use that on the ledges can be devastating. As we're getting ready to jump into our next matchup, we'll get to check in on some replays from the previous matchups, just cool moments that we saw. And I mean, there were so many, especially in the matchup right here, which is Mata versus Calamity.
Yeah, this was an incredible game. Really back and forth. Incredible. It went really well for both sides. Unfortunately for Boise State, Mata did end up falling down, but it was an
We were able
incredible
to
game
take
to
it
watch
back here in
nonetheless.
this
But
next
yeah,
matchup.
it was immediately taken back by Gokis with his snake supremacy. I mean, I know that cats normally hunt snakes, or at least I've seen my cats do it.
Yeah,
It's
my cat does it too. Yeah, I think unfortunately for Incineroar, as cool as a character as he is in Super Smash Bros., he's very hit or miss in his ability to like defeat another opponent, and Goki's, I feel like, has oftentimes been unable to show the true power of just all of the explosives that Snake can use. And this was a perfect character to show how hard it can just be to deal with if you don't have answers. And although being able to get that revenge damage off of getting hit is really helpful, it's just not enough when you don't have easy answers to immediately get up against your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, he might be a mainstay in Pokemon, the video game.
Oh my gosh,
in
because
that
he's an
tournament.
absolute menace.
Yeah, 'cause
Don't
he's
even
a-
go to
he's a-
Pokemon
he's a
competitive. We can't. Do not put me there. Do not bring me to Pokemon competitive.
Because okay, why? Because you don't know enough about it, or
because
you
I know too much.
I do too, and I know that Incineroar is a menace. Unfortunately, he's just not quite as big of a menace. But here's two menaces on the screen right now: Melfor, the Steve Slayer, versus Lumshot, the Mii Brawler.
We're gonna jump right into the matchup. Looks like what you were talking about will come true. You get to see your beloved.
Why is Mii
Shot
Brawler
put.
so sad? His
They have to. We'll find out. But
Right, Melfor, though, taking quite a bit of damage, getting locked in a lot of the combos that we were talking about earlier. Mii Brawler can hit you a lot of times really fast, is able to get out of it, and almost even the score in just 2 attacks. Oh, shot put comes through, and 15% per projectile is not something to sneeze at. Now Bowser trying to get something done here. Melfor is unable to find anything. Lumshot gets a good grab, but is immediately returned by Melfor. Lots of damage coming through. The fire goes through as well. Oh, good
strong
hits
attack.
off of Melfor.
Ooh,
Tries
getting
to
a
chase
little
it down, and
greedy
he
there
missed.
and denies
He
recovery.
missed it. He missed the recovery. He waited too long. He got too greedy. Lumshot trying to return the favor, but big slam from Melfor doesn't quite make it though. Up to 150%, and the benefit of heavies not being launched is really being put on display. A good grab comes down, and Mii Brawler in a very dangerous scenario.
Ooh, trying to find some opportunities on that recovery, but Melfor holding
Oh,
strong.
again!
Exchange of the shot put with Bowser's attack, but it is not enough. And another stock is gone. Baylor looking at a significant point loss in this matchup if they cannot find an opportunity here.
Yeah, Melfor is just ripping through, even at almost 200%. It's going to be enough there with the uppercut. However,
But we're still 2-1.
Yeah, we are still 2-1, and that is a high percentage to be playing at if you're Lumshot right now. Mii Brawler not quite able to get a lot done, hucking the shot put, not getting anything through, almost gets sat on, but luckily the platform was there. Melfor trying to get something out of it, just being juggled by the Mii Brawler. Manages to make a little space, does get the parry on the shot put. Trying to get something done. Whirling Fortress comes through, trying to make something happen.
Ooh, and there it is!
The gut is going to send Lumshot home. Boise State pulls ahead, 10-7.
What an incredible lead the Broncos have found themselves with. They've been able to create that just distance by getting 3 points off of their opponent. Baylor in this next matchup is facing what could be a knockout here. They either can take this or they can't.
Yeah, they need, in order to tie the game, or actually in order to win, they need to 3-stock the next opponent. Because that'll give them the 3 points they need to tie, plus the 1 for the win. But the real question is, can Trickster do it? It's a lot of pressure to be putting on one person, especially with our Olimar expert up next.
Yeah. Olimar versus Mario is, I think, a pretty fun matchup, to be honest. I don't think Mario has all of the craziest answers for the Pikmin. And luckily for Supersonic, he's not going to be going up against this like impenetrable heavyweight character that he just has to slowly chip damage until he can find his knockout opportunity. Mario is not one of those characters. It's not going to be so much of a trench warfare situation as Supersonic often gets put in.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to be very interesting one way or another. Mario has a few things that he can do in order to deal with Pikmin. Fireball is pretty good because it does one-shot. The cape can actually reflect the Pikmin back at Olimar. It'll be really interesting to see how it gets played around. But I feel like Supersonic always gets put in the situation of, oh, we're playing against a rundown character. Go get him.
Right. It's like, all right, we have this one character. All right, Olimar, good luck.
07.
Yeah, so
honestly, as long as he's able to make the space and get the damage with the Pikmin, get some of... All he needs to do is take one stock, and they win.
Mhm.
That's all he needs to do.
Yep.
Or actually, that he needs to take two stocks to win.
Yeah.
Which, the way that Boise State has been playing currently, I think that they can do it.
Also,
Baylor has been playing well, just not quite well enough in order to... Or just not quite well enough to keep it as close as they need.
side note, Supersonic needs to lose no stocks. Why? Look at the scoreboard right now. 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
If he can lose no stocks, then we get the most perfect board ever. So, I don't know. Just like play really good or something. It makes my brain happy seeing like a perfectly ordered score line of stock loss.
I didn't even see that.
I just was you were starting to talk and I was just staring at it and I'm like, it's in order. That makes me happy.
Who are you? And then that'll put Baylor at 1,000. 1,000 what? I don't know. Pikmin thrown at them?
There will probably be plenty Pikmin thrown at them, and we will
burn
hear
marks
the
on
Pikmin
Lumshot? I don't know.
sound effect so many times.
Yes. We love the Pikmin sound effect.
We do love the Pikmin sound effect. And unless it's two Pikmin, or two Olimar, I almost said two Pikmin fighting each other, two Olimar fighting each other, and then it's just, that's all we hear the entire match.
I will say, I would rather that than two snakes that last the whole 10 minutes. That is
or two Fire Emblem
marathon.
characters,
Or
or
yeah,
certain Fire Emblem characters fighting each other.
Or a Fox and a Falco just going at it until they both hit like 500% and no one's died because they have no kill power.
Right. All right, no, that's fair. I think I can handle Olimar Pikmin sound effects back and forth from both opponents over and over and over again. That's reasonable. You know what? And it's better than Steve.
Yeah, it's like two kids with sock 'em boppers just going at it. Like, you know it's never going to stop, but you kind of want it to keep going, like, in your heart.
I think it's at least entertaining to watch the Pikmin run around, like all of them just going back and forth, spinning through the air, landing. And that is our start marker for what could be the Broncos able to take the first game, bringing themselves to match point. Baylor has an opportunity to hold on here. We'll just have to see when the scoreline starts. Supersonic versus Trickster.
And how fitting that we are playing with a Sonic soundtrack as well. That is incredibly convenient. Mario getting a lot of damage put on very, very early. Quick to return it. Trickster not pulling any punches here. Olimar not quite able to find anything other than the weaker Pikmin. Purples are where it's at when it comes to the Pikmin with Olimar, but being able to just chuck a few on, let them get a little bit of damage in is definitely what you want to see. Supersonic taking quite a bit of damage in the combos. Mario is been able to find quite a bit.
Ooh, but the purple Pikmin launched straight into his face is going to hurt. Now having some room and some tools to work with, Supersonic is finding those opportunities with the grab and continuing the onslaught.
I always find it a little funny because you can never really tell if they've been grabbed just observing with Olimar, but then you just see them fly up
into the air. Yep.
Helps. Purple Pikmin, though, has been flowered, which means it is going to be doing a little bit more damage compared to everything else. Trickster knows this, tried to get a pot shot at it, doesn't quite work out as it goes flying at his face. Damage being traded back and forth fairly evenly with both characters. Olimar trying to find something here, manages to get a good hit. Supersonic looking for something. Doesn't quite find it. Mario still on the edge with a good grab.
Ooh, this could be dangerous, but Olimar has that solid recovery here. Just having to be wary on this ledge recovery. Mario goes the wrong direction for the attack, trying to read if Supersonic goes too far. With that, we're back into the middle of the stage. Powerful attack, launching Trickster up into the air.
Now, both characters really struggling to find the kills here. Getting up to high percents, just not quite able to find anything, but the next person to find a big attack is going to be the one to take the first stock. Trickster in a really awkward position, needing to take all three without losing one in order to give them a chance, but a good grab is going to shut that down.
This is why we don't underestimate the blue Pikmin, Bryce. That was a knockout.
That was a, yep. I mean, I've trashed the blue Pikmin in the past. I'm not going to shy away from it, but that gave me a little bit more respect for the little guys. Purple's flying. Reds managed to get onto Mario. Lots of damage coming through. Mario tries to shield. Up smash comes through. Goes through the second time, but not before taking a lot of damage. But 2 flower Pikmin is a pretty large loss for Olimar.
Rough to see here for the Trickster, getting that stock knockout and then getting pummeled by Supersonic here. Trying to find some opportunities, trying to use those fireballs to chip off the Pikmin, but it is just not working out. Getting
Big damage!
Just a little grab there on the red Pikmin to get that chip damage off, and now another knockout grab!
That is number 2 blue Pikmin getting stuff done, and I think it's safe to say that that was your unbottled play of the game, presented by local dairy farm families. Perform, recover, refuel. Visit unbottled.com to learn more. As we see the Pikmin continue to fly, Trickster not able to find anything. Supersonic getting it done with the purples. Lots of damage flying as he gets it back to about even.
Now the question is, will Supersonic be able to do the same move again for this final knockout here? We'll have to see as we are looking for those damage numbers. Going off of ledge, trying to find a knockout, but Mario is not able to hold Supersonic down here.
Ooh, big damage out of Mario. Just trying to get it done. We're at the same spot we were at before, but a good little down special is going to take him out. We are at a 1v1 scenario, folks. This could be what determines if we go to a tiebreaker or not. If Supersonic can grab this, Boise State secures their first win of the series. Lots of damage coming through from Olimar. Lots of attacks coming through. Mario finding himself in the same scenario that he just put Supersonic in. Trickster needs to find something quick here to bring it up to even, but a big hit launches to the right. Decks it to the left, trying to get things done. Manages to get back on stage. Dodges the Pikmin, can't dodge the yellow. Gets the stun. Able to shake it off fairly fast.
Ooh, good shield there to avoid any attacks through the platform. 140% here on Trickster, trying to find those opportunities to maybe get something cheeky on ledge, but it doesn't go through. Supersonic getting that good recovery there. And the smash from the purple Pikmin is going to be the Broncos win. 9-14 in the Broncos' favor.
Purple. Getting stuff done is what these guys are meant to do, and we just showed up, and they just showed up to play. That puts them up 1. They still have to win 1 more in order to win the series, but that showing gives you a lot of confidence for what this team's going to be able to do.
Yeah, now the team needs to regroup and re-strategize. Both Baylor and the Broncos need to determine their next moves as they get ready for their matchups here. These teams need to think carefully. The Broncos had a strong lead, but there was opportunities there for Baylor, and Baylor, we know, will be looking to capitalize that going into this next matchup.
Yeah. They were able to keep it really close, but I think what ended up in Boise State's favor is that their wins were by more. Like Melfor's win by 2 stocks was what really secured them that game. The issue came in with the fact that you needed somebody to essentially win with 2 stocks at the very end in order to secure yourself just the tiebreaker. And that really came to nip at Baylor at the very end. They lost by enough stocks that the final person was in a very tough spot. And I feel like that's where the beauty of duels sorts to come in. It makes you think about that just a little bit more. It makes you think about how you're doing some stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities within duels here. I also think with this matchup being a little bit more back and forth than some of the ones we've seen previously, it really gives that opportunity for that to shine. But as we get ready to go into that second matchup, we are going to take a quick break, let these teams strategize and get ready to go. But we will be back with the second matchup for the match point to see if Boise State takes it or if we're going into match 3.
Life happens. Lucky for you, ICCU has a new kind of checking account that comes with benefits that help you life better. Because being human is a full-time job.
My friends know me as Garrett, but I'm also Master Sergeant Raxton. This is my life in the Air National Guard.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. Is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
It's the end of a good day's work in Idaho. Time to punch out. Time to check in and catch up. Time to remind ourselves that what we work for isn't a paycheck. It's to make the good things we have even better. So here's to your good day's work. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe money is a thing. It's not everything. Good day's work in Idaho. Time to punch out.
Scott Matt.
It's the end of a good day's work in Idaho. Time to punch out. Time to check in and catch up. Time to remind ourselves that what we work for isn't a paycheck. It's to make the good things we have even better. So here's to your good day's work. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe money is a thing. It's not everything.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. Is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
Life happens. Lucky for you, ICCU has a new kind of checking account that comes with benefits that help you life better. Because being human is a full-time job.
Let me show you what I got.
With the Dairy West Fueling Station, we really wanted to create a place that our players could come and be fueled and hydrated in a healthy way, fuel their minds, fuel their bodies so they can compete at the highest level. Dairy West has really allowed us to do that, and we're excited to see what this space turns into. This is only phase one. There's many iterations to come. It's truly unique in college esports, and we're excited to see how that continues to evolve.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena as we continue our coverage of Baylor versus Boise State. So far, the Broncos have managed to take the first game, putting themselves at match point for this best of 3. As we continue into the next matchup, we will have to see if they can find any opportunities to throw the Broncos off of their current flow, or if they're going to be able to pull another win away from Baylor and show that the Broncos will take home more wins this week.
Yeah, and coming off such an electric first round, I have a good feeling about this next one. Boise State had a fairly, they had a significant win over Baylor, and it really showed how the team has grown, how they're going into it, and it also showed ways that maybe we need to work on a little bit. We had there were a few drop stocks where maybe stocks shouldn't have been dropped, but in the end, it all led to a victory for round 1, and we're looking to see the same thing in round 2. The matchups are almost here, and it'll be really interesting to see how it all goes down. If they're going to do something similar, if they're going to put out the same characters, and yeah, just to see how it's all going to go. Is it going to go similar? Is it going to go different? How are we going to play this one out?
Well, it looks like we get to see already the difference in matchups here. Jumping right into what looks to be first matchup here.
Looks to be Gokis and Trickster.
Yeah, Gokis versus Trickster, Snake versus Mario. Snake does want to be throwing all those projectiles, but Mario is much faster than their previous opponent. So this is going to be a little bit more of a challenge for Gokis here.
Yeah, we don't get the revenge match from Mario. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't try that again, but maybe might be for the best with Snake being a little bit more easier to approach. But with so many projectiles coming out, it's going to be a little bit harder to get up there. Mario's not getting any ground, getting a lot of damage in the beginning, but not really finding anything towards the end.
Yeah, Mario needs to find those combos to put Snake into a position where they cannot throw any projectiles, but Mata not letting that happen. And that handy-dandy platform there is a little bit deceptive. It does give you room to work with, but it puts you closer to that knockout. And that is going to be Trickster's first knockout for Baylor, showing a similar response to the previous first game here. Baylor taking that first stock, but that doesn't mean that's the end.
Yeah, Goki's really just struggling to get Mario into a position where he's going to take a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. Trickster knows how Snake plays, trying to play around that C4 and the Dynamite, not letting it get up. You saw him do the double take. He's scared of that C4. He does not want to go anywhere near it. Good combos out of the Mario, just trying to get stuff done, but a really good parry is going to spell doom for the Plumber in red.
Just holding back and forth, a little bit more back and forth here, but Mario not finding those opportunities.
Picked up the grenade, and that was a little bit of a mistake. Blew up right in his hands, allowing for Gokis to get away, get a little bit more done. Trickster trying to do something, gets the Aqua Jet, not really doing much with it. That's the one thing about Mario's kit. I'm not 100% sure why that's there, but we have seen it used a few times.
Did you say you don't know why the water is there?
Oh, I know what Flood is, but I think it's an odd addition to Mario's kit.
All right, fair enough. I was about to say, if you don't know what game that's from, we need to talk about your childhood and your game choices.
That would be a very big shame if I did not know what Super Mario Sunshine was. Best 3D game in the series.
But luckily, the sun seems to be shining on Gokis here, getting a little bit more momentum and bringing the percentages closer. Great dodge. But that grab is going to be a devastating knockout for the Broncos.
A devastating wound to Gokis with that grab is just not going to quite let him through. Saving throws just is really hard. Gokis trying to get back onto stage to finish out Mario, not quite able to find it. C4 is just not in the best spot in order to find that knockout. Grenades coming up, lots of projectiles coming through, big damage onto Mario, 122, just one good shot's gonna be all it takes. But Trickster not gonna let that happen. Even with an explosive straight to the face, it's not gonna be enough. Oh, another one. Like a fastball to the teeth.
Another one.
Another one. Another one.
And another one with the combos. Mario throwing hand after foot straight into Goki's face there. A lot of damage, though, onto this second stock. Trickster needs to be careful, but the grabs have been oppressive here for Snake. Goki's trying to find any opportunity has been quite rough.
Yeah, Goki's really just struggling to find a spot with those grabs, especially getting up close, but a good side tilt is going to take Mario down to his last stock. That only leaves that's a maximum of 2 points for both teams, which is where you want to be. If you're going to lose the game, you might as well take 2 stocks. But Boise State still can claw back from this. This is far from unwinnable for them. Goki's looking to make something happen here. Grenades are getting thrown. C4 barely misses Mario and unfortunately falls back on his own grenade, trading it with Mario. But one good throw is going to lead to the demise of Goki's. Trickster knows this, gets a throw, but not the right direction. Isn't quite able to get that back from him. Do anything, has to blow himself up, and it's an SD! Oh, what an unfortunate SD. Yeah.
I mean, when you get put in a situation like that, there's only so much you can actually do on that recovery, so you might as well attempt. But we're still here, and we're still ready to go. The Broncos are not out of this yet. At a similar position to the previous round, where we did not take the first game, but we did end up taking a lot of the rest of them. So,
you ever get that feeling, a deja vu?
Currently, right now. And we'll
I'm
have to
referencing
see.
the game that I'm better at. But overall, what a game. I'm really glad Goki's was able to claw that second stock back, was able to get Trickster down to 1, give the least amount of points, or give the Broncos the most amount of points possible, and I think that's really what you need to do.
Yeah.
But going forward, Melfor will be playing Banjo and Kazooie against Howard the Ghastly's Incineroar.
So
no longer Steve Slayer Bowser, but instead Banjo and Kazooie.
We're getting the revenge match, but not the one you expect. We're not going to be. We're bringing the bear out to fight the cat, which could be interesting. We've seen some interesting matchups here. We don't have that fire resistance that Bowser normally has, but we do have a very, very angry bird.
So, do you think Howard the Ghastly would play Gengar if he was in Super Smash Bros? I mean, you'd need to trade. So it would be kind of difficult to get the evolution, but...
Imagine if they actually put the trade mechanic in Smash Bros. That'd be painful.
That would be incredibly painful. But moving on to the technical aspect of the matchup, this is going to be really interesting. We once again have 2 characters that excel in melee and will do really well. However, Melfor has a lot of options in the range game. You have eggs.
This is a projectile game again for Incineroar, unfortunately. Banjo has a grenade and has eggs.
Not as close as Snake's, oops, half my kit is projectiles. But it'll be really interesting to see how it plays around. You have a grenade, you have your eggs, a lot of stuff that can be used to build that revenge, but if you can't get close before the bird does, you might just get hit with the squeaky chicken.
And notably, Wonder Wing is just a brutal finisher move that Melfor has access to. A significant amount of damage, really hard to dodge because it's so close ranged and it's so fast that by the time you see it, it might be too late. It's just a really good knockout potential. I think that Howard the Ghastly might be in a similar situation, if not maybe a little bit worse in some ways, just with Banjo's ability to contest in melee. And just as the crowd is getting excited, we're going to jump right into the matchup. Grenades already flying as the Broncos are finding those opportunities to hold the cat down and not let Incineroar find any opportunities.
Yeah, but an opportunity is going to be found off the back of a small mistake with a grenade. Another one That is 2 grenades that have blown up in Melfor's face, and a good Wonder Wing is going to put him back in the game, though. Both players at around the same amount. Lariat doesn't quite find its target, leaving him open. It's blocked once again by a grenade, and Incineroar is on the back foot. Recovery gets him back on the stage, but right in the middle of a squeaky chicken hit. Good egg, and there we go.
And exactly what you were talking about in the previous game. You get Incineroar off the stage, he's going to have a bad time, and that recovery is not going to work out in his favor. Not often do you see an Incineroar player use their up special. It just does not work out. And now we're jumping into this next fight here, where Melfor is just laying on the damage, unfortunately taking quite a bit of damage as well. Having to sacrifice some Wonder Wings for the recovery there, but still holding strong on this first stop.
Yeah, 2 Wonder Wings go down, almost taking out Incineroar with that final volley, but a good hits from the bottom. Incineroar is not quite able to get up. Howard the Ghastly, this is looking quite grim for the Ghost-type Pokemon. Getting launched up for a 3rd time, and what did they say, folks? 3rd time's the charm.
Incineroar finding themselves getting launched constantly into the air, not what they want to find, and now with a grab, they're going to have to be fighting on the side of the stage. Melfor says, no, 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 get back into the air there, launching them to the side. Now going to take a little bit of turn there, but the Wonder Wing will give them the room to work with.
Whoa!
Down to 1. Going to have to be careful here, as I think Howard the Ghastly found the win condition here, launch him into the air and get the knockout, but Boise State still in the lead.
Yeah, Melfor doing a great job using the platforms to his advantage. Good grab comes through into the jab, sends him off the edge. Over 100% now. Good. This is the perfect position to be in if you're Banjo and Kazooie. Melfor dodges the Lariat and punishes accordingly. Melfor getting a lot of damage in, misses it again! Oh, Howard cannot land the command grab to save his life. 4 in a row do not go through, and that's the game! Melfor taking Boise State in the lead.
We're seeing a very, very similar story to our previous matchup, but Melfor is able to sneak away with 1 more stock than last time, and the crowd is going wild. They are here for the Bronco win, and they are ready to see what's next, especially considering it's Supersonic.
He will be up next with the Olimar into Lumshot, who decided, I'm not going to play Mii Brawler anymore. Personally, I think he's a coward for doing so, but now he's going to be playing Ken, mirroring the Terry pick, taking it more to the fighting game, of the other fighting games. I mean, if you're going to play Ken, why don't you just go play Street Fighter?
Good point.
Why don't you just go play Street Fighter at that point? I mean, I could say the same about Terry, but Fatal Fury hasn't gotten a game for like 6 years. It's the closest they got.
It's all you've got right now. It's okay. We understand. But yeah, the Ken Olimar matchup, going to be a little bit more of that big character to chunk through, but not, they have some ranged options in.
I will say Olimar has the significant advantage coming into this matchup. A lot more ranged opportunities, a lot longer of a grab with your Pikmin, a lot stronger of a grab with your Pikmin.
Can't do so much with Hadoken on the single Pikmin. That feels like such a waste. Giant energy blast on the one little guy.
The one thing that's going to be really difficult to shoot through is getting in close for that final hit. Olimar really struggles to kill confirm with his Pikmin, and he really needs to get up close and personal to do so. Ken thrives in up close and personal, so it's going to be really hard for him to confirm those kills. However, it might just be the mind game that he needs. Ken can easily make mistakes. Ken gets punished for mistakes very easy, and that can be said about all of these fighters, all the fighting game characters. Any little mistake you make can and will be punished.
Well, and something similar to the Greninja Terry matchup from the first round, which we will see after this, so it'll be interesting to compare and contrast. Olimar has the air advantage. Olimar's recovery with the Pikmin, significantly better than Ken. Ken, garbage. It's not a good time to be a Ken in the middle of the air off stage. And so with that, it's going to be at least that opportunity there. Olimar can jump around those things, similar to how we saw Greninja against Terry there. So we're going to get a little bit of a similar back-to-back setup here for our final matches, but we do have the benefit of our little Pikmin friends here to give that assistance to Supersonic, as well as the Pikmin in the crowd. ready to watch this awesome matchup.
Heck yeah, you wouldn't think being fired up would help Plant Monsters, but it's helping them out right now. We are seeing an electric stadium here tonight, and I feel like that is going to really help them out. Ken might have fire in his arsenal, but I don't think it burns quite as hot as these players.
He might have the fire in his hands, but does he have the fire in his heart? I think not. Let's get into the matchup. Olimar versus Ken. This will determine how brutal this next match is going to be.
This will determine if Lumpshot should just go play Street Fighter instead of Super Smash Bros. Pikmin being launched out, already taking a pretty decent percentage advantage, but like I was talking about, a lot of damage just put on from a little bit of pressure out of Ken. It's going to be really difficult for Olimar to get a lot of stuff done, but lots of damage being packed on by the Pikmin.
Token trying to find that opportunity there. He's going to shoot out the projectile, but it is not going to go far enough. Too slow. Olimar finding that room. Going to get launched into the air by Lumpshot RG, but the Pikmin onslaught is out. The grab goes through. And although not able to make a full combo, Lumpshot RG cannot get away with all of those combos as easily as they would like to here.
Tries to do the counter, doesn't quite make it before being forced out of it. Lots of damage being traded back and forth. Ken hasn't been able to find anything since that initial volley, and we are playing at the same thing.
Ooh, but brutal attack through the bottom of the stage here.
Oh.
And Olimar able to get the first knockout off a launch into the air. Lumpshot RG down a stock. The Broncos continuing their momentum.
Yeah, both purple Pikmin are out on the field as well. I say that and then one immediately dies. We're back down to one. However, even just having that one is going to help him out. Big damage from the Pikmin, still stacking up with the stun. Hadouken comes out, doesn't find his mark, finds the Pikmin instead, and we are seeing lots of damage being racked on. A good parry results in a grab, back throw comes through, and Ken is now back on stage. The rules have been reversed.
Oh, and he found that opportunity. He was looking for one powerful attack, launching Supersonic into the air, bringing the stocks even, but not the percentage. Still an uphill battle if Lumpshot RG wants to find a way through to the win.
Big damage out of Supersonic is taking him down fairly high percentages. However, Lumpshot has been able to stay away from it for the most part. Big damage from the red Pikmin is going to result in a lot of percentages, but it isn't going to quite confirm the kill. Counter goes through, barely blocked by the shield, and Supersonic finds himself back on the stage. Ken, you can't do the little down. Oh, good up.
Nice try, Ken, but you're going to get yeeted into the sky one more time. That has been the favorite move, I think, of the Broncos going forward. Yeah. And it seems to be working.
Honestly, it seems to be everybody's favorite move. Lots of kills have been confirmed off the top of the stage, and it's been working for just about everyone. Pikmin being thrown at the Hadouken. I mean, you can try to Hadouken spam, but you can only get 3 before you're gone. Lots of stuff being just thrown everywhere, trying to even out the odds. Keep in mind, though, Supersonic has an extra stock to work with. Would like to finish this off right here and now, though.
You can see definitely looking for that opportunity, trying to find the grab. Ken might be the brawler, but Supersonic is more than willing to get up close and personal right now. Taking some of those attacks, just understanding the difference here. And those purple Pikmin just packing a punch.
Oh, yeah, lots of big damage. Isn't quite able to save the second one that went off the stage. Hadouken comes through, saved by the Pikmin. Noble sacrifice by them. Dodge rolls are gone through. Shoryuken completely whiffs. More Hadoukens flying around. Nothing is happening with them, though. Stun gets through, but there's one for ya. Ken finally manages to hit one.
Bit of a broken record today. Keep seeing similar ways that these knockouts have gone, but we know how this could end here if that's the case.
He almost
tries to go for that whiff, but it's not going to go through. We're going to stay on the stage for a little bit longer. Lumpshot RG trying to find that room for Baylor, but Supersonic holding strong here on the ledge, trying to bring Ken near to a knockout. And some of those opportunities to get that already. We've got blue and purple on stage here, ready to go.
Yeah, the blue still getting a lot of damage, forces the Shoryuken in order to get rid of it, but big damage.
And that could have been the knockout. And they're going to find it with the red Pikmin. The Broncos bringing themselves to the exact point lead that we saw during the last game.
Man, I was talking about deja vu. I'm starting to see it. Well, the only thing that's different is that we went 2-1 instead of 1-2.
It's true right here. Ah, dang it.
Yeah.
Ah, the uneven,
The
but that's
cohesion.
okay. Where's our cohesion? But that doesn't matter right now. The
symmetry.
Broncos holding strong. I will contain my desire for the perfect order for now because Supersonic took away a win against a pretty tough fighter there. And now we're going into our final matchup for this round. This could be the determiner. If Baylor cannot find a way to win here, the Broncos take this.
Even if Baylor wins, they lose 2 stocks, and Boise State still has firm control of this game. And that will put them up to match point. This is where the dual system really comes to shine. You may not win the game, or even if you win the game, you could still lose the round on points. You need to find a way to get that done, and I think Mata can figure out a way to shut Baylor and the Bears down completely.
And we can hear the crowd going wild. We know who they think is going to take this here, where they've placed their faith. Mata is the favored here. Now, the one danger is we did see this matchup in the previous game, and it, if I remember correctly, did go the way of Calamity. So Terry has shown they can beat Mata, but Mata has an opportunity to show what they've learned from that matchup and how they can take advantage of their experience to take home what it was. It was a fairly close match, so
yeah, it was an incredibly close
still
match
anyone's game, I would say here.
Yeah, and honestly, that match was a complete coin flip, and I feel like it could have gone either way. Both characters were really playing to their strengths. The only issue is Mata made a few more mistakes, and Terry was able to capitalize on that and allowing Calamity to take the win. However, I don't think that is going to that luxury is going to be handed to him twice as we go into round 4 of what could be what is match point.
Broncos starting off strong, looking for those opportunities. Terry using those platforms, trying to sneak through, getting a couple attacks off, but Mata finds a multi-attack there, using the water stars to create some space. Terry trying to ledge guard, but Mata is unfazed.
Big damage coming out from both sides, still keeping it fairly even. Lots of damage being brought out by Mata in this next volley. Tons of damage just being traded back and forth. No one able to quite a big lead. 72% on Mata, 64 for Terry. Calamity really struggling to find a lot of good hits, being able to get shielded, but finds his combo there. Mata at almost 100%, Calamity almost sitting at 64. This is going to be a little bit more difficult to claw back from.
Calamity trying to find those opportunities. Greninja runs in and is going to get launched into the air, but that shield dodges a powerful attack, sending Terry straight into the air. Not quite towards the go meter, but we are getting close.
Yeah, almost to that 100% that you need to push the go button, but not quite there. Kickflip comes through, getting Greninja off of him. Calamity really needs to find something to finish it off here. But he's not even going to get
Who
to
even
use
cares
it.
about the
There
go
we
meter
go.
when you just knock them straight into the air? The Broncos able to dodge a dangerous meter. That is a great advantage here for Mata. Now just need to hold strong and deal as much damage as possible before a potential stock loss.
Mata said, I saw what you did with that last time. You're not doing that again. Big damage once again coming through. We see Calamity almost at 60% where they were not even 30 seconds ago. They really need to find something to finish out the stock, but this big damage keeping him in the air isn't going to let him do anything. He is in an awkward position right now.
Ooh, Calamity trying to find an opportunity. Good air dodge there.
Oh!
But it's not enough.
And
Getting
that's
sent
the
straight off the side.
Go. And that, my friends, will be our Terry West play of the game. Brought to you in part by local dairy families. Reform, refuel, recover, repeat. Visit unbottled.com to learn more as we see these players continue to go at it. Mata threatening the 3-stock.
Insane here against Terry, getting that potential 3-stock and holding strong, jumping through the platform, sending Calamity straight through the air. The crowd going wild. They want to see a potential 3-stock here. And Calamity trying their best to try and prevent that, but they're not finding any opening.
It's like I was saying earlier, that quickness is going to come back to bite Terry since there isn't much way to get around and get that damage in. However, Mata can attack from any angle at any time. Just trying to get something done. Manages to finally find his side special, but it might just be too little too late for Calamity. Misses the grab. Jab comes through, and a good little tilt almost finishes it off.
Ooh, gets
But
the kickflip to stall, but this ledge guard is dangerous, using a strong attack there, but the substitute
It finishes it out with the counter. Boise State Broncos defeat the Bears in an impressive 2-0 win.
What a nasty knockout, too, using the substitute to knock you right into the air. The crowd knows how that went. The Broncos, with the crowd going wild, taking that 2-0. What an awesome matchup for to end this week.
I'll tell you what, I may need a cough drop after that match. For
No kidding, my voice is slowly disappearing, but I just couldn't help myself from getting excited after these matchups. Great plays from both Baylor and Boise State here. I think the Bears played their heart out, as did the Broncos, but the Broncos were able to find that win. And speaking of wins, thanks to ICCU for their continued support of Boise State esports. Because of them, Boise State esports has won multiple national championships and piled up more than 1,500 wins, including this one. ICCU, looking after your daily balance. Visit ICCU.com. I need a breather for a second. I'm slowly losing the ability to talk because just breathless at the incredible plays that we watched tonight. But that is the matchup. The Broncos able to get their first win, Smash Bros, for the PEC season, and a great opportunity to continue that tempo forward as we go. Although that's all we have for you tonight, we will continue going forward with our matchups throughout the rest of the season, so be sure to tune in as we have plenty of games to keep watching going forward. Have a great night, enjoy the top 5 plays of the game, and we will see you next time.
C4 was there too. Howard with a good spot, but
just barely
going to take him. Big hitboxes come to bite you in that scenario. Good little jab out of Howard the Ghastly. Trying to get something done here. Goki's playing around it well.
Oh, there it is!
Trying to get something done here. Melfor is unable to find anything. Mlumshot gets a good grab, but is immediately returned by Melfor. Lots of damage coming through. The fire goes through as well.
Ooh,
good
strong attack.
Melfor
Getting a little greedy there at Supersonic here. Trying to find some opportunities, trying to use those fireballs to chip off the Pikmin, but it is just not working out.
Big damage.
Just a little grab there on the red Pikmin to get that chip damage off, and now another knockout.
Damage in a very short amount of time. Trickster knows how Snake plays, trying to play around that C4 and the dynamite, not letting it get up. You saw him do the double take. He's scared of that C4. He does not want to go anywhere near it. Good combos out of the Mario. Just trying to get stuff done, but find something to finish out the stock. But this big damage keeping him in the air isn't going to let him do anything. He is in an awkward position right now.
Ooh, Calamity trying to find an opportunity. Good air dodge there, but it's not enough.
And
getting
that's
set.
My friends know me as Garrett, but I'm also Master Sergeant Raxter. This is my life in the Air National Guard.
It's the end of a good day's work in Idaho. Time to punch out. Time to check in and catch up. Time to remind ourselves that what we work for isn't a paycheck. It's to make the good things we have even better. So here's to your good day's work. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe money is a thing. It's not everything. Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. It's finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
Boise State Esports Arena. I might have been a little hasty in my calling of the stream tonight, but that's because how could we possibly end what was such an incredible match without getting an opportunity to talk to some of the players who played in it? So we're here for our post-game interview with background support here to cheer on our players after their matchup, and of course, as we need to see from all the team, we're going to be talking to Supersonic, the one, and all of his Pikmin.
All of my Pikmin, yes.
All of your Pikmin. So I got to start to ask, did you know they were all coming tonight?
No.
So
I had no clue.
So it was a surprise. I was curious. Well, I will say good surprise indeed, especially with all of the Pikmin shirt for support. And what a great matchup for it. The Broncos go 2-0 against the Bears. When you guys were looking into this matchup, both of you guys didn't have any points on the board yet. Were you nervous? Did you have any specific worries going into this matchup, or did you guys feel fairly confident?
First off, I want to say that every single character on that team beats Olimar. Every single one. And so when I saw Mario, I'm like, I'm going to choose the better of the worst. This is, Mario was just not that bad for Olimar specifically. It's just that I would just rather take him than the other ones.
And then you got Ken.
And then I got Ken, yeah. I scared him off.
Fair enough. I mean, hey, you guys put in an impressive showing throughout the matchups. Were there any moments that you guys were nervous, or did you feel pretty cool as a cucumber throughout those two games? You had those moments there, those first matchups that Baylor managed to take, but after that, had pretty good runs. Any thoughts on that? Any nerves that hold through, or are you holding strong the entire time?
Well, first off, I want to say that I believe in our team. There's nothing about this. If we don't believe in each other, we don't have anything. We don't have anything to go off of. We don't have strategies. We don't have faith. We don't have anything. If we don't have faith in each other, then we're not a team. And I just want to highlight Mata, Gokis, and Malfour, and as well as myself to have everything that we've had during the match. And yes, I will admit I was getting quite nervous in the lead up against Mario and Ken. But during the match, I was just kind of calm. I will say in the matches before this one, in a few weeks before, I would be a nervous wreck. During the matches, I would just be like, oh my god, I'm losing. I need to go. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to kill quickly. I need to do all these things. I'm trying to plan a trip to the moon without getting the blueprints. It was just hard for me to do so, and I just learned how to calm down. I've been getting into meditation recently. It's been a big help, and it's just keeping calm during a match is always very important.
I mean, hey, the mind games are just as important as the button games, right?
Yeah. In order to beat your opponent, you got to be smarter, or you got to be cheesier.
One or the other, right? You know, sometimes both. But with that, now with this win under your guys' belt, any specific thoughts going forward? You've got matchups, you know, coming up that, you know, as always, going to have those different quirks and challenges. The PEC definitely has a lot of strong Smash Bros. Teams. Do you guys have any plans for how you're going to move forward after this?
Well, I believe next week is Kansas, and they got another Olimar. And I've met the guy. He's really fun to talk to. But I just want to say that will be put to the test on which one of us will come out on top.
Ooh, I don't got the mirror matchup potential.
We may have the mirror matchup. I know we did last year. Yeah. But I will say.
Well, we know who the Pikmin have their faith in.
Yep. I do want to say he's his Olimar is really good. I do feel challenged by him, but I do have faith in myself and of course the Pikmin to have my back during this fight against another Olimar. But aside from that, Kansas next week is just it's gonna be tough because there's just a lot of characters that they've got under their belt. Not only Olimar, but also characters like Corrin and like a few others I forgot, but. It's going to be tough, but I think we can do it. I really do. It's all about the oh my god, I'm having a stroke up here. It's all about the mind games and seeing about what we can do in the battlefield and what we leave on the battlefield.
Absolutely, especially with the format, you know, being points based. It's totally not just based off of whether or not you completely win or lose the match, but just how effectively you handle that match overall. But we're definitely excited to see your further matchups going forward. Any final thoughts that you want to share? Anything you want to say to the Pikmin behind us or the team, you know, going forward, or perhaps Kansas?
Okay, first off, I want to say, where did I go? Yeah. But going forward, I do believe in our team. I do believe that we can do better. In this upcoming season, I truly have faith of where we can go. And eventually, when we do travel to Vegas next semester, we are going to kick some butt. That is our ultimate goal. We're going to Vegas, and we're not leaving empty-handed.
All right, you've heard it here. The Broncos are ready to kick butt for the rest of the season up to Las Vegas. And with everything that we've been seeing so far, I'm excited to continue to see these matchups. Awesome matchups tonight, and we're just happy to get to watch such great back and forth from both teams. But that's where we're going to be ending tonight. Thank you for joining us on the stream, and thank you for taking the opportunity to speak with us for a little bit, Supersonic. It's always great to hear from the players and see the community in action, because that's why we're here in esports, to watch people play games and have fun. So thank you for joining us tonight. Have a great night, and check in next week as we will continue to see our matchups, especially for Super Smash Bros. As now we know there might be an Olimar versus Olimar contest to see who will be the best. Have a great night. Thank you so much.